Belief is probably the richest asset one can really have because it can turn a poor man into a rich man by first enriching his mental self. Welcome to my Rita. And today we'll be looking at the review The Magic of Thinking Big. Idea plus belief equals success. So said a lot of great books. And the book we're reviewing today, The Magic of Thinking Big, it's not an exception of this formula. Yes, the formula is actually a very realistic formula. We'll be reviewing the first four chapters of this book, chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what is chapter 1 of this book teaching us? It's teaching us how to believe in ourselves. Because if you pick up the tool of belief, as a great asset, you'd really see that things will start changing. You see yourself becoming better in whatever you do. I'll tell us a little story about myself. I was supposed to give a speech in front of a great congregation once upon a time before I read this book though. And I already said to myself that I can't be able to face these people, that the crowd is huge and I don't believe in myself. I don't believe I can actually do this. So finally I mounted the stage because yes, it is my turn to give the speech and I was supposed to do that. So when I mounted the stage to give the speech, I just found myself stuttering. I wasn't able to give the speech as boldly as I was practicing at home. So I was really surprised that, oh yes, it happened. I told myself that I won't be able to give the speech and it really happened. So when you do not believe in yourself, when you say a lot of negative things about yourself, a lot of negative information and affirmation will start flowing in and it will not be successful. But when you tell yourself a lot of positive things, when you affirm yourself positively, I made a video about this, positive affirmations, of which I'll be linking the link to the video. I'll be putting it in the description box so we could really go and watch how to affirm ourselves daily and become successful. So positive affirmation works a whole lot. At first I thought it was all a joke, watching a lot of motivational speakers telling us to affirm ourselves every day, and it's actually very good. But then when I started practicing it and when I started taking away negative thoughts and negative affirmations from my head, I found out that it really works and it's worth it. It's worth our time. So that is about chapter 1. Chapter 2 of this great book is teaching us how to put away excuses from everything we do. Excuses buries opportunity, and it's not really the first time we're hearing this. It's really true. When you give excuses about anything, you just see that there are lots of opportunities that is being buried by giving what excuses. So let us minimize the excuses we give, because we might really be blocking our way to success by giving tremendous and lot of excuses. Number 3. So number 2 will teach us how to minimize our excuses, even though yes, we know that those things are bound to happen, but we really don't know how to curtail it. So when we read this book, chapter 2 will put us through on how to minimize our excuses. Number 3, or chapter 3 of this great book, is teaching us how to be confident of ourselves, be confident, and what put away fear. Fear has killed a lot of destinies. Fear has done a lot of things to people. But when you read chapter 3 of The Magic of Thinking Big, you find out how to put away fear and be confident of ourselves. The one way I would tell us how to put away fear is to do that thing you're afraid of doing. Of course, if you're afraid of speaking in public, speak more in public. If you're afraid of doing anything, if you're afraid of preaching, if you're afraid of dancing, if you're afraid of making videos, make more videos. If you're afraid of doing anything, do that thing more, do it more, and with time you just see that the fear for that thing has disappeared. So do what you're afraid of doing more, and the fear for that thing will disappear. The last chapter, which is chapter 4 of chapter 4, the last chapter we'll be reviewing today, not the last chapter of the book. The last chapter we'll be reviewing today, chapter 4, talks about thinking big. I'm just smiling because this book has tremendous thing to offer. Thinking big, it's the basics of every successful man. It taught me how to give myself an isolated time, and was to think, to refrain, to just go into my shell, to you know to isolate myself from the crowd, from people, and to think, to bring out ideas, to think big, to think about the things I would want to achieve, and then start putting down ideas of how to implement them. So if we are finding think big as a huge word that we can't really accomplish, when you read chapter 4 of this book, it will teach you the step-by-step ways of thinking big, how to isolate yourself, how to pen down your ideas, how to think big. And yes, you would really thank the author for writing the book. Thank you so much for joining me in this edition of Think Big Book Review, which reviewed chapter 1 to 4 of this book. It's more like a book summary. Yes, so the subsequent chapter of this book is coming up in my next video. Thank you. Till we see next time. Go out there, grab a book.